Hello guys, welcome to the next video tutorial on C programming for beginners, and in this video I'm going to teach you about variables. So I'm going to teach you what are variables and how we can declare variables in C and how we can use them. So first question is, what are variables? Variables are nothing but the data holder, or you can save values in a variable. So it's just like you want to save your age in some place, you can store it in a variable and then you can extract your age using this variable also. Now variable has two different things. One is called data type. For example, int is an integer, and then the name of the variable, for example age, and then you give a semicolon here, and this is the declaration of the variable. Now what the variable means is, we want to declare a variable called age. Age is the name of the variable, and int is the data type. Data types is the type of data this variable is going to store. So it's going to store integer in our case, then it's initialized by this data type called int. Okay, now you can assign some value to this age. For example, age is equal to 21, and then you can print this age by printf function. For example, the age is percentage %d, which holds integer value, and then comma, and then the variable name, which is age. Okay, and when you compile and run this program, it will show you the age is and whatever the age value is, which is 21 in our case, right? And you can see this, the age is 21. So once again, the variable are used to store some value. Okay, now there are some rules for declaring the variables also. For example, you want to store the variables using some number, starting with a number, then you cannot do this. So these are some rules. I will just enclose them in the comments so that they are not executed. The rules are, your variable name cannot start with a number. Okay, so for example, you want to start your variable with a number, it's invalid. The number must not be there or at the initial place. Okay, so whenever you compile this program, it will give you an error because your variable name starts with a number, but it can end with a number, or the number can come in between your variable name. It will be totally fine, because what's the problem here? Yeah, this age, I will just comment this out because age I haven't declared it yet, right? So it's totally fine to have numbers in between your word, but your variable name cannot start with a number. Okay, the second rule is, your variable name cannot have spaces. So for example, you want to declare a variable called any age, for example, with a space in between. So this is invalid. You cannot have spaces in your variable name, right? The third rule is, you cannot start or use any special character. For example, dollar, you want to use dollar to initialize the variable name, it's not allowed. Or you want to use asterisk in between your variable name, it's also not allowed. Okay, so avoid using special characters in variables, but it's totally fine to use underscore. Underscore is an exception which you can use as a special character in between your name. So for example, my underscore age is totally valid variable name. Okay, the fourth rule is, always avoid to use special function names. For example, main is the function already declared in C. if you want to declare main as your variable name, it's okay, but it will create conflict in C, because C will think that this is a function name and you have declared it as a variable name, so it will give you some conflicts. And it's in the warning also, when you compile this program, it says main is usually used as a function. So avoid using any special function names in as a variable name. Okay, so these are some rules for the variable names. And you can also initialize your variable like this, 21. It's totally fine. Whenever you declare your variable, you can at the same time you can initialize it by this equal to sign. Okay, and whenever you build and run, it will run totally fine. Now there are different type of variables. I will just run this program and then I will show you what are different type of variable name which are very basic to see. So you can declare integer variable names. For example, you want to declare decimal point variables. You can do it with the data type float. So float you can use to store some floating point value or decimal values. For example, pi has the value, for example, 3.14 and whatever. So it's a decimal value. You can store this decimal values using a data type float. Okay, now in order to store a character, you use char, and char, you know, you can name it as my underscore char, it's totally fine, is equal to any character, for example. And always remember that whenever you want to store a character, you store it in single quotes. Okay, so do it like this and it's totally fine. And the fourth type is, which is very basic, is double. Double is also a data type, and you can say this is a big pi value is equal to 3.14 and whatever is the value of pi, big float value. So these are the four basic data type you can use in C. There are other data types, but these are the most basic data type you can use to declare variables in C. Now I think that's it for this video. I hope you have understood the basic concept of variables, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and bye for now.